Hey, this is Doc Yates. I'm a naturopathic doctor, registered acupuncturist, and a kinesiologist, owner of the Yates Naturopathic Clinic, and the founder of the interactive health website, Able Health. And this is the Simply Health Podcast, a show for females where I work to simplify and demystify the secrets of achieving optimal health naturally, based on my own experience in working with thousands of female patients over the past 15 years of my clinical practice. Welcome to Simply Health. Hey, this is Doc Yates, and on the drive today for the Simply Health Podcast, we are going to dive in again to fertility. And again, I know this podcast is primarily to support perimenopausal females and menopausal females, but because of this upcoming release we have for Able Health Fertility, I really want to be able to share some of this information. And I know that even if you are in perimenopause, I guarantee you know someone right now who probably is of fertility age, who's struggling to start a family or grow their family, and you can share this information with them to enable them to help their lives. So take a listen, please share, please subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already, and let's dive in. Because today we're talking about acupuncture and its role in improving your fertility. We're going to talk about 6 key factors that acupuncture can play a role for fertility. So in mainstream medicine, you know what? Even they don't do acupuncture, but even they at this point are referring for acupuncture because it's just that well documented that it can play a role. So even some fertility clinics will offer acupuncture as part of their service now. They usually do it in a very limited supply, sometimes just like immediately after the treatment, whereas if you're using it as part of your routine, that's going to give you by far the best effects. I've been using acupuncture for years. I've been a registered acupuncturist for years. And a lot of times, even at this point, patients, I'm not even have to suggest it to patients. They already know about it, and they're coming in, they're asking for it because they've been trying to get pregnant, and they want to incorporate this. And the most beautiful thing about this is that Able Health, this website that we've been developing, and I'm very excited about, and for the fertility release, it will tell you the acupuncture points that you need based on your case. And it will show you how to use these little tiny stickers with little tiny needles, imagine a Band-Aid with like a little needle the size of a mosquito's nose, and it will tell you exactly where to put them based on your fertility case, which would be great because that will make it so much more accessible to so many more people. But enough of my shameless plug again about Able Health. Let's dive into it. Number 1, it's clinically proven. This is not something where it's fringe. This is something that's been shown to improve fertility. So there's no reason that it shouldn't be part of your program. So that's kind of the obvious one. It's already clinically proven. It's been studied in great detail. So do your best to find a way to incorporate this into your fertility program. Number 2 is it's very calming. And the big thing with fertility is that it's extremely stressful. And then you have that constant don't worry about it and you'll get pregnant. Don't think about it and you'll get pregnant. And it's like, how are you not supposed to worry about it and how are you not supposed to think about it? And the more you talk about it, the more you get wound up about it. And that's where acupuncture plays a huge role because you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to worry about it. And acupuncture helps with the worrying and helps with the calming. And that improves fertility for that. So you'll see a reduction in anxiety. You'll see a balancing in that tension and a reduction in that tension. And this will, as a side, also improve your fertility. Number 3, it's been shown with ultrasound to increase and stimulate blood flow to the uterus and the organs of reproduction, which means by stimulating blood flow to the area, gives a better effect. It gives a better effect for the uterine lining. So another key point for acupuncture for fertility. And this is the unique part. And some of these points that do that aren't even near the uterus, and they're still stimulating blood flow to the uterus. That's, to me, the most fascinating thing about acupuncture is not using acupuncture. Anyone knows how to can quickly learn how to use acupuncture. To be registered, that takes that's a few years of study, but to learn some of the basics can be very quick. The part that is mind-blowing is how did they figure this out in the first place? Because they didn't have ultrasounds and any of these tools to measure the effect, but yet, some of the main fertility points could be down by your ankles, and that can improve circulation. So, to me, that's mind-boggling, if I could speak. And I find it so interesting. Another example would be that one of the main points for reducing and releasing tight shoulders, and I've seen this work. It's in your shin. So I don't know how anyone figured this out. It's amazing, but it does work, and I've seen it and I've used it consistently in patients. So number 3, like I said, it can increase the blood flow to the organs of fertility, specifically the uterus. Number 4, it can also regulate hormones and help balance your cycle. And this is something that I have found in many cases, not necessarily even fertility cases, just people who have irregular cycles, really bad PMS with their cycles, really heavy cycles. Maybe they get a lot of symptoms like severe bloating, breast tenderness, irritability with their cycle. Acupuncture can help with these things as well. So anything that's working to improve and regulate your cycle is improving your fertility, because the more regular cycle you have, the more it is to know when you're ovulating, the easier it is to plan. Number 5, the side benefits of acupuncture are great, because beyond just working with fertility, if there's something else you want to work on at the same time, for instance, say you've got back pain, neck pain, shoulder stiffness, you want to help with your immune system, you want to do anti-aging points, you can do all of this at the same time. Now, it's usually probably better not to do them all during the exact same treatment, but during the same treatment series, you can be alternating these and getting all of these benefits. So it's fantastic. And which means point number 6, another big benefit for acupuncture, is that it doesn't involve taking anything orally. So say if you're on a cocktail of medications already, say you're going through fertility treatments and you're on a cocktail of hormones, this doesn't involve taking anything else, so you don't have to worry about any type of interaction with medications, interactions with herbs, vitamin supplements, because there's nothing oral being used. So for me, that just opens up acupuncture to be even more useful and more applicable, because you don't have to worry about that. Now, some of the big limiting factors and limiting issues is, for one, a big one is fear. People are scared of needles. And that's why, especially for Able Health, we don't use, well, one, I would never send anybody home with an actual acupuncture needle, but you can use, especially for fertility points and for calming points, you can use the acupuncture sticker needles. And again, they're literally the size of a mosquito's nose, and it's like sticking on a little Band-Aid. It's the easiest thing, and I initially used them in practice for children that I wanted to use for acupuncture, for calming, for ADD, for relaxation, or even back pain. And because they were obviously scared of the needles, you put these on, they can barely even feel them at all. So those work fantastic. So you don't, and an acupuncture, even if you're using regular needles and you're going to an acupuncture clinic, it doesn't feel like getting a needle. Like say you're getting a shot or a vaccine, because one, the needles are way smaller. Like a regular needle that you're getting, say, an injection with, there's a hole in the middle, and then the outside is sharp, and it's literally cutting through, whereas the acupuncture needle is so small you could fit several of those inside that needle. The next thing is that there's nothing in the acupuncture needles. So people always, this is a very common question actually, even from patients I've had that are nurses. So like they ask, well, what are you injecting? Like what's in the acupuncture needle? And the answer is nothing. There's nothing in it. So when you're giving a regular needle and it's going into a closed space, and then you're trying to inject something into that closed space, that is probably the most uncomfortable part. Plus whatever you're injecting, if it's depending on the concentration of it, that can lead to a lot more of irritation as well. There's none of that involved with acupuncture. So even if you have a fear of needles, it doesn't feel anything like a needle. And I always tell patients the best cure for your fear of acupuncture is the first needle. Because once I put in the first needle and they realize they didn't even feel it, all of a sudden everything that they were anticipating about what they thought it could feel like just goes away. So the other big factor is cost. So fortunately, at least where we are, a lot of people have coverage for acupuncture through their insurance. But if they don't, again, that's another reason why we've been creating Able Health, because we want these types of things to be more accessible. So Able Health, it's all included into the cost of Able Health. So generally, acupuncture can range from anywhere from $60 up to $120 per visit, and with Able Health, all of that's included. It's now obviously there's certain things that it's going to work better for, like because for Able Health, it's always the little acupuncture sticker needles. So for fertility, great. For anxiety, great. For digestion issues, bladder issues, great. It's just certain times when I have to use deeper needles in practice, you'd have to use different techniques instead of acupuncture. A perfect example would be sciatica. Sciatica, I'm often using deeper points to release deep into the hip muscles. That would not be as applicable here. But for everything we're talking about right now, no issue. And finally, the last issue or problem that people have with acupuncture is all of the time. It takes time. Sometimes you have to take time off work to go to your appointments. Most appointments range from 30, 45, sometimes even up to an hour, depending if they're going front and back. So, and then the biggest thing too is that acupuncture works best with frequency. So if you look at traditional acupuncture, like at the older texts, they weren't seeing someone once a month, and they weren't seeing something once a week. It was every day. So the more frequent you can get the treatments, the better. Again, my final shout out there, Able Health with these acupuncture sticker needles, it allows you to do it every day, easily, from the comfort of your own home, probably from the comfort of your own bed if you want to. You just lie down, it takes 2 to 5 minutes to put the points on, and you're good to go. So I hope this information was helpful. I didn't really want to spend the entire time just giving constant shout outs to Able Health, but that's what it's designed for. It's to make these things more available to people, and I feel like we've done a good job with that. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to share this if you know anyone who's struggling with fertility. It's one of those classic examples where if you can think of someone where you would ask that question, hello, you guys have been married for a while, why haven't you had kids? Guess what? They're probably already trying, and you're making it worse by saying that. So instead of that, feel free to kind of forward them a link to this, to Able Health, and we'd be happy to help them too. This is Doc Yates, signing off. Thanks for tuning in to Simply Health. If you want to learn more about health, check out Able Health. If you want to see some of the other projects that I've been working on in health, business, music, and life, please check out the links below.